Hi, welcome to the Talk with T. Renee. I'm your host, T. Renee Mathis. Today's topic is depression. We're still talking about the documentary Face of Darkness, and this is my wonderful guest, Jas Anderson, actor, parent, business person, and he's a cutie pie. Hey, Jas. You know I had a little crush on you when I first met you. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. But it's good to know because
Why didn't you ever ask me out?
I don't know. You're intimidating. You're very powerful, very beautiful, and you scared me.
Ah, I love it. I love it. I love it. So, Jas, this topic is heavy.
Yeah.
We're talking about black men and depression, and I've heard that the depression is on the rise. I want to know, you've done some wonderful things. You are affected by depression?
Of course, I think that we all are. I think that the whole thing that people don't realize is how much we really are because we, as artists, have to throw on the face. We have to smile when we don't feel like smiling. We have to shuck and jive when we don't feel like shuck and jiving. If you get what I mean. I've dealt with depression heavy to the point where I didn't feel like I was going to come out of it because people see you do this and see you do that, and they think that everything's good. They think that, oh, you must be happy. Just saw you on this show. Just saw you in that movie. You must be good. Things must be great. But you don't even know the half. And it's hard to kind of, in this business, tell people what you're going through because your agent may look at you and say, well, he's kind of, he's a little skeptical.
Sign of weakness.
Yeah, and it comes off as a problem instead of them understanding that it is a problem, but they look at it from a business aspect of it. And, you can't really talk to friends and family sometimes because they don't understand. And sometimes people are going through their own things themselves. So it's kind of hard. So who do you talk to? I found myself being alone talking to God a lot. And it got crazy for me at one particular point in time. I mean, I've used mechanisms to cope, such as drugs. And it just wasn't where I needed to be, and a lot of times I didn't know how to get out of it. I didn't know who to reach out to. I didn't know who would look at me differently. You don't necessarily want to always tell people your business because people hold it over your head, and a lot of times people don't care. So it is a real issue that we have to look at. And I have a son, a beautiful son, and I have beautiful daughters. So as a father, how do I cope for myself when I have to be their strength? What do I do? That's an even harder topic to understand when you're depressed because I felt like I wasn't a good enough father.
And I want to talk about that too. The first point you made was the drugs. When you were taking them, what was your mindset? Did you know that this is wrong? I shouldn't be doing it. What were you going through?
I think I just wanted to release. I didn't want to feel. A lot of times you take substitute because you don't want to feel that pain. You don't want to feel that realness. You don't want to really deal with what's going on and the real issues at hand because to face it means you have to sober up and understand the facts of what's going on. So I don't know what I was thinking. I just knew I didn't want to feel this. But it doesn't help because after the high is gone, after the feeling is gone, you still are in that same place. Because the only way that you can really get better is by getting help, is by talking about it, is by embracing the pain. Embracing the pain. A good friend of mine told me sometimes you have to embrace it.
Absolutely. And I was talking to some people, and Kenneth Todd Nelson is a good friend of mine. He's one of the producers, and I don't know if you know, but I suffer from depression too. And as a matter of fact, I take some antidepressants. A lot of people don't know that I started taking it because my brother just died of cancer, and I was devastated. How do you cope positively with it now? Do you go see a therapist? Can you share some of the positive coping mechanisms?
I'm actually going to start seeing a psychologist, somebody to talk to, because a lot of times you have to find somebody who has no relation to you, because then they have an open view eye of it and they're not judgmental. Because some people are judgmental and they don't even mean to be judgmental. That's just what it is because of their closeness to you. You have to keep yourself around positive energy, positive people. Kenneth is one of my good friends, and he was the one that suggested that I come out here and I talk about it and I speak about it because he was saying that this would be therapy for me. This would be a way for me to release those demons. We have to talk. We have to release those demons. The more we keep it inside, the more it gets balled up, and the more it becomes chaotic. And yeah, not even chaotic, but suicidal. There's times I wouldn't be here today if I had the strength enough to kill myself. You know, and I didn't care about my children, my mom, people who loved me. It was real difficult. And it's hard. It's hard being a black man trying to be the stereotypical black man who's supposed to be strong and not weak. And I don't think that there's anything weak with showing your emotions.
Absolutely not.
You know, it's crazy because I can do that so easily on TV or so easily in the play, on stage. But in my own life, I felt like I needed to keep that from people.
Why do you think that? Is it because I know black men, don't show your emotion? Is it something that as a child even you were faced with, even like maybe when you were at the local little gym or park and maybe you cried when you were 5? Did dad say, don't cry or be a big boy? Where did it start?
One thing that I can say is that my dad wasn't present. You know, he did the best he could. He tried the best he could. He loved me the best way he knew how to. That's one thing that I had to realize. Secondly, I was cool because I had my mom. So it was never a problem with being emotional because I was raised by an emotional being. And she always insisted that I let it out, that I don't keep it in. But that's in the house. When you go outside and you're around your friends, it's a different story. So I had to find a balance between how I really felt and what I had to portray outside of my home. And it didn't really stem until I got older, until things started to become a little bit more difficult. And when you don't know how to deal, that's when it gets into a scary place, when you don't have anybody around you to support and uplift you, to listen to you. Some people don't want to listen to you because they think that, it's not a problem. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I got bigger issues. I got bigger problems. You complained about this little bullshit. Excuse my language. But that's not, and that's not. Sometimes you could have missed saving a life if you just paid attention.
You're absolutely right. And I want to make 2 points. When I would see your work, I'm like, man, he's really, really good. And I mean, really good. And what I love about Kenneth is that when we became a little bit friends, and Kenneth, you're closer to Kenneth than maybe like you and I. But what I love about Kenneth, he'll be like, oh, I'm with Jas. Oh, da-da-da. And it was nothing like, oh, Jas has this problem and Jas had that problem. It was like, did you see Jas? Jas is crazy. Jas better get out. Like, I'm trying to go to sleep. And that's what I love, because sometimes you do find a person, and you're right, we cannot take for granted what that person going through. We see Jas doing his thing, and we never know that you're a person too. I want to talk to you about, because the level that you are in your career, you've worked around with a lot of people, and I don't know if you knew Lee Thompson. I don't know if you met him or somebody, but how, I guess it's similar to you. I'm looking at him, Disney kid. He's on a TV show, and he decides to take his life. It looks like he had everything.
I mean, but that's the stigmatism, of the business. Half of it is what you see, and the other half is what you don't see. Mm-hmm. And usually what you see is not really what it is. Money doesn't make happiness. Money doesn't give you what you need in order to survive in this world. It's monetary. Mm-hmm. And what it shows you is that you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have happiness, that's a scary thing. When you have everything that you can possibly want, when you have a career, when you have the luxuries that come with this career, but you can't find happiness, what do you do then? Yeah, like I would really, that would be a really tough place to be at. See, me, at least can aspire to wanting more. Mm-hmm. I can aspire to wanting to be greater, but I don't know what I would do if I had it, if I was here and I couldn't find a place of happiness. My children are my happiness. You have to realize you can't make, okay, speaking for myself, I had to realize that I can't make acting my life, because it's not. It's my 9 to 5. Even though we don't have 9 to 5 hours, my life for my children, my life is my family. My life is the friends that I have that support me. You know, you have to find something other than this, and I feel like once I was able to release from that mind frame that if I don't get this, the world's gonna be over. If I don't get this, if I don't get it, I don't get it. I'm not.
Yeah, that's a good point. You have to have something. What are some of the things that you do with your children that has changed you? Because you're raising a handsome black boy and some beautiful girls, and you're a better person now that you went through this. I hate that you had to go through it, but you're a better person. How is a new father technique?
It's not even. I can't. I've always been a dad. That's the whole thing about it. Even when I was going through what I was going through,
Did they know? Did you tell them?
Of course not. Because children don't need to be privy to everything. Some things they're not going to understand at that age. 13, 6, 7, and 12. They're not going to understand certain things. And certain things you kind of have to sit down and talk to them delicately, and you have to do it when you're in a better place. But my kids never knew, because when they were there, I was gun-ho dad. I love my children with everything that I am.
We know you do, and you're a good father. I've seen you around with your babies, and I think that everything you're doing is for them. And I know that I love you, and I look up to you, and I want to be like you, because when I see you on film doing your thing, the places that you can get, it takes me a while to get there in acting.
I put it in my work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I put this pain in my work. And I don't know what I would do if I didn't have that. That outlet. We need an outlet. Because the worst is to not know what to do. And that's when you do silly things. That's when you think about doing things like Lee did. And you don't want to get to that place, because it's a dark road to get back from. It's really hard to. It's so funny, because it takes forever to build a career, but it takes 2 seconds to lose it. So I think that people have to be mindful of that, and I think that people have to be open to change. I had to change my life. I had to change the people around me. I had to change the tumultuous situation I was in as far as relationship-wise. I had to change. Sometimes it's okay to let people go and to love them from a distance. It's okay. You have to. You have to. My mom is my everything, because she's all I have. I've seen my mom. My mom has Crohn's disease. So my mom, even till this day, is sick. So what do you do, when you have that, and then I don't feel like I want to burden her with my issues? If you don't have, somebody to be there for you. I didn't have a brother. I didn't have a sister. So that even made it even worse, because I'm an only child dealing with all these feelings and all these things. I'm lucky to have people like Kenneth, to have people like you, to have people who unconditionally, no matter what you go through, no matter what you do, they love you. Love unconditionally. I pray every day now, and I ask God to help me love unconditionally those who don't love me, or those who make it hard for me to love them. I pray for my enemies and those who wish me not the best, because you can't allow others to affect who you are. You can't allow situations to affect who you are. Sometimes you have to be able to say, okay, you know what, that's just is what it is, and it's not going to change who I am. Teacher once told me, he who angers you controls you. I don't allow anything that's not positive now come into my circumference. I don't.
Absolutely. You know what? I've been writing for a long time. When you email me and I reply back, I'm more powerful beyond measure. And I thought, oh, that's just cool. But I never, until my brother died, and one day I thought about using drugs, or the people on my block, maybe I should go and sleep with them, because I just want to feel pain. I felt something about that I am more powerful beyond measure came up to me, thinking like, we need something like that. We are powerful. Even through this the heartache, it makes us who we are. We're going to be a better people. So I'm so happy that you came. But I want to know, before you go, we're going to talk about something positive. Tell us as an actor, what are you working on? What are you working on now?
I just did a series called For Color Boys, who was directed by Stacey Muhammad. and it's produced by Cynical Smith and Isaiah Washington.
See, I told you this guy's ridiculous.
Playing the character of Curtis. I want to thank you, Stacy, for believing in me and letting me do the work and letting the work be seen. It's a great project about men and the system, incarceration, and how it affects families, and how this one character who's the lead, who's played by Robbie Morgan, comes back from being locked up and the effects that it had on him, and now he's trying to piece his life back together with his son, especially, who's played by Julito McCullum, who's
From The Wire?
Really, and the adventures of Mr. Pete, Mr. and Pete. So it dives into a whole lot. I play a character named Curtis whose father was locked up with Julito's father, and it has an effect on me. So you have a powerful story that needs to be told, things that need to be told. I'm trying to do projects that, I'm sorry, I have nothing against 12 Years to a Slave. I think it was a great movie, but I think that we've had enough slave movies. I want to see something that depicts us and shows us in different lights. And this is one of those pieces that shows us as powerful, strong men, and it shows the things that we face. So this whole Face of Darkness is in relation also to the situation with the color boys, because being incarcerated can cause you to feel depressed, to feel like you have nothing, being trapped like a dog. But it's great. We just got into the PAFF, Pan African Film Festival, and we're up for best web series. And I think that if everything goes right, they're not telling us, Stacy, but we should be getting picked up by network.
Yay! Maybe I could play your girlfriend or your sister. I'm just saying.
Holla, I got you, girl. I got you. Listen, so you ain't got to have no casting couch or nothing, girl. I mean, shoot. But it also stars a great cast. Nashawn Kears, who's a good friend of mine. Who else? Jacinto Riddick, Tim Reed. Okay. Who else am I missing? I think that's the core characters. Kai Muhammad, who's Stacey Muhammad's sister. Ephraim Benton, who's like my people's. Lamar K. Cheston. It's just a great piece.
That's a great cast. Okay.
Also, what else? I'm shooting a film. I'm shooting actually a short right now, which is it's not even a short. I don't even know what to describe what this picture is going to be, but it's about three friends growing up in Brooklyn and them dealing with race issues. It is really, really powerful. We start shooting on Monday. And I'm excited about this new year, because I feel like this new year is going to be a rebirth year. I don't even call it the new year. I call it the rebirthing year. It's like, rising from the ashes, like the phoenix rising from the ashes. And I feel like that's what I'm doing in my life. End of the year, great. I just shot White Collar, Personal Interest.
Nice. You better do it.
So I'm excited about where my life is going and where my career is going. And I think that also people need to understand you have to find a level of spiritualism. I believe in Father God always, and I'm also Buddhist. I chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, which means devotion to the mystic law of cause and effect through sound and harmonious vibrations. It's a way that you live your life. I don't think that it's a religion. So I think that people have to find a medium between life, work, and spiritualism. So I'm excited. I'm excited for what God has in store for you. You work hard. You're a hustler, and that's the most attractive thing about you is that you are a beautiful hustler.
Oh, thank you.
So
we're gonna have to have you back because you got a lot going on. My friend Jas Anderson, actor, amazing actor, wonderful father, and a brave soul. And we need to know. We need handsome faces. Because we need to know that somebody like you is going through it. We're all going through it, Thank you so much, sweetie.
thank you for having me.
Talk with T. Renee Mathis.
There's no escape from the smell.